at the feet, but we're gonna watch this.
The scapula are another very common place for people to hold tension. And I usually include scapular release as part of the diaphragm release, but evidently nobody remembers, so maybe we didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, well, that makes everybody. So if you look at the scapula, float on the ribs. There's no joint between the scapula and the ribs, and they float on a bed of muscle. And the only bony articulation the arm has with the rest of your skeleton is the collarbone. Okay, and it acts like a strut to kind of hold it all out away. So the scapula is a very common place for tension. The muscles of the scapula are, very related to the, trapezius, of course, and then the muscles of the neck where a lot of tension is held. So a good way to release the scapula, it also includes the glenohumeral joint too, if you want to unwind that too. Mm-hmm. But I take, so if I'm doing his right scapula, I put my left hand underneath the shoulder blade, and I would, I just splay my fingers out along the edge of the scapula. So my little finger is holding the, see if I can find it. The inferior edge, and my thumb is right above the spine, the scapular spine. That's what that ridge is called. And then the supraspinatus is the muscle right above the spine, super to the spine. And then my other hand, there's a groove between the deltoid and the pectoralis. So I put my middle finger in that groove, and then just lay my fingers down, and my thumb naturally goes out here on the olecranon bursa. Okay, and then this finger's up on the AC joint, right here, and then I'm can tune into the glenohumeral joint with this part of my hand here. So then, what I do is just tune in and see if it wants to unwind, and usually it will start unwinding. And the scapula has a wide range of motions. That's one of the reasons our arms are so limber and so mobile, so we can swing from branch to branch really easily.
I used to.
Like we used to, yeah. And then we can put just a little bit of lateral traction on it if you need to. See its shoulders moving up, it's moving down, scapula's moving in and out. And again, generally, once the scapula is all released, you'll feel like you can just pull it towards you, and it'll just keep coming and coming and coming, and there's a normal cranial rhythm. It's not unwinding anymore. But I sort of made this move up after getting a massage one time, where the massage therapist, usually how you're laying on your back and they'll massage your back, and then you turn over and they massage your front, but she did it both together, and I thought, well, you could do that with cranial work.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's been helping a lot of people. So.
Did she get royalties?
No, I don't make anything off it either, so.
That's why you skipped it. Name recognition. I saw it. It's like, oh, that must be sweet.
Yeah, it's weird I skipped it because I made this one up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that this can be a really helpful move to add to your repertoire.
Right.
So now I'm starting to get heat coming out.
Yeah, I noticed an intense amount of energy right before you said that.
There we go. And it's starting to loosen. So when I just put little test motions for lateral traction, I'm getting a little more response than before, but it's still actively unwinding. And I'm paying attention to both my hands because it's unwinding in the front and the back in different ways. So. But my fingers here are on the pec minor, and so you can work rotator cuff, and my thumb here is on the supraspinatus tendon, which is underneath the deltoid, That's a common source of injury for shoulders.
Can you do brachial plexus injury from in that area?
You probably could. It's a little. It's up here a little more, but you could intend your energy up that way, and then of course the results of brachial plexus are coming out down through here and then coming down the arm and that kind of thing. So, you mean like a birth trauma where it got stretched, or
Like a bike
or a
accident.
motorcycle accident?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it might be a good one for that.
Just tight muscles.
So do you ever like push it like forward or?
Mm-hmm. If you need to, like, so he's unwinding all different directions. It's going back and forth and this way. It's twisting, you know, and then the front is unwinding and. Okay.
So
And then generally you want to do both sides at the same, both sides of the same session if you can, just so you're not too imbalanced. So he's putting his own test motions in.
yeah, it's like moving.
Mm-hmm.
When you're putting your hand over there, do you think about all the anatomical parts that are underneath your fingers? Because you're telling us, so when we're doing it, we need to be constantly thinking about what's underneath.
I think that's helpful. That's a good way to
He always does this.
bring your right brain and your left brain together.
Mm-hmm.
So the right brain is tuning in and feeling the motions and the energies, and the left brain is going, okay, so that's the glenohumeral joint, that's the, anterior part of the rotator cuff, so you're thinking about that kind of stuff as you're doing it.
So when it starts spasming like that, how do you know to? Do you just keep pulling it out?
I'm
or?
just going to stay with it, yeah. So in between the contractions, I can tune into it again. And
It's a very visual unwinding.
yeah. Well, he's mentioned he does gymnastics, right? So he's probably had a lot of force going through these joints and stuff.
Is it voluntary or is it happening by itself? Is it doing something?
It's trying to release itself.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not doing anything.
No.
Wow.
I mean, it'd probably be challenging to move your own arm that way. That will.
But oftentimes that'll be a sign of the unwinding completed and you just kind of relax.
So when this settles down, yeah. So I would just stay with it, and there's still a lot of heat coming out the back.
See, it feels like in the rear scapula that there's some kind of joint or something that wants to pop, and not sure whether it wants to pop or whether something else just needs to shift to release the tension on it.
Underneath the scapula, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really putting a lot of traction now on the lower medial side of the scapula. That's where I'm being called. Like it wants to rotate out this way.
Laterally?
Mm-hmm. The inferior part wants to rotate out, yeah. Which is what the scapula normally does when you raise your arm up over your head. Very good, yeah.
So in this move, we really have a lot more, well, there's a lot more freedom in terms of exaggerated moves, whereas in cranial, they've been very intentional.
Yeah.
10%.
Well, with unwinding and stuff, again, how much force you use depends what the body's asking for. So you can actually end up doing some pretty deep tissue work. And
Like a massage almost.
That's the other thing. You want a massage apparently.
So, are you limited by
Were you getting that too?
surgery? Like
Yeah.
if you've already had surgery, rotator cuff surgery. Is that
I know. I was
Is
like,
what?
no.
I believe
Sorry.
I wanted
you
to
repeat that
listen you.
yeah.
Are you limited by surgery in your ability to correct
Oh, like if they've already had surgery?
Yeah, if they've already had rotator cuff surgery and such.
No, what you can do with that is release any traumas the tissue's absorbed, either from the injury that caused the rotator cuff or the surgery itself. And then, like if there's any contractures in the scarring, you can help stretch those out and release those,
Okay.
that kind of thing. So see, now it's calming down, and the heat's easing up in the back. There we go. But I was doing one of my advanced classes. I was at a woman's head, and this other woman was working on her belly, and she was up on the table on her knees and pushing in her belly with her entire weight. And I'm sitting there, and the woman's like screaming and writhing and stuff, and I'm sitting there picturing ruptured spleen and perforated bowel, you know, and I'm trying to encourage the woman to ease up, and the patient on the table stops what she's doing, looks me right in the eye, and says, "Back off." And I went right back into screaming. So I was okay. Another ruptured spleen. So
Oh, she looked at you and said that?
yeah, because I was trying to tell this woman to not push so hard.
Oh.
I was worried about internal injuries. And so,
Oh, so she caught that.
this is what I
so yeah, so it's amazing what bodies will do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, when they need to.
Oh man.
When are you teaching advanced?
Well, actually, I'll be part of this class.
Yeah.
But I would really what I would love to do is go into a residential setting, like maybe go down to Brightonbush for 4 or 5 days and just do
Okay.
do